Have you ever wondered why contracts, especially technology agreements, have certain clauses that are in all caps or bold lettering? It's usually some legal term like warranties or limitation of liability. When I started out in procurement some 25 odd years ago, I'd often see this kind of language, and for the longest time I thought that the bold font and the all caps meant that the language is non-negotiable. But over time, I realized that that clause, along with everything else in the contract, whether you received it in an editable Word document, a locked PDF file, or written in blood on the back of a napkin, is 100% negotiable. Because if both sides aren't 100% comfortable with what the contract says, then they don't have to agree to it or do business with each other. Now, it's important to note that I said 100% comfortable and not 100% in agreement. You'll never be in 100% agreement with your negotiating partner. If you are, then I hate to be the one to tell you, but one of you is being taken for a ride. But the problem is that most of the time, the folks responsible for negotiating with technology suppliers, whether they're in procurement, IT, or even senior executives, don't understand what a lot of the legal terms and contracts mean because they didn't go to law school to learn about indemnities and liabilities and carve-outs for IP infringement. So they rely on their in-house counsel to negotiate the legal terms of every single contract because suppliers will never agree to the customer's boilerplate legal terms and corporate lawyers will never agree to the suppliers. Or they hire expensive outside counsel to negotiate a deal with the supplier on their behalf. But unfortunately, sometimes those lawyers are more concerned about their billable hours than actually getting a deal done. So to bridge the gap between the Ivy League lawyers and us simple folk, I developed a negotiation training program that provides some insight on key legal terms from a negotiator's perspective. Now, this isn't law school, it's street knowledge, because when you understand the subtle nuances of these terms and how to negotiate them, you'll be able to go further into a negotiation before having to bring your lawyer into the deal. And that extra distance you go can create a tremendous amount of leverage for you. Remember, when one side brings their lawyer into the deal, then the other side has to follow suit because lawyers will only negotiate with other lawyers. So the longer you can keep your lawyer at the back table in your two-table negotiating strategy, something I also cover in my course, the more you can trade off certain legal terms for more favorable commercial terms in the deal. Better price, better warranty, better SLAs. But in order to do that, you need two things, and I can't stress enough the importance of these two things. You need to understand the implications of the legal terms you're negotiating, and you need to be crystal clear on your legal's threshold of acceptability for concessions on those terms. And the best part is, if you've implemented a two-table negotiating strategy, you always have your lawyer at the back table as your safety net. Now, I've been talking a lot about my negotiation training course over the past few weeks, and there seems to be a misconception that this course is only for procurement professionals. But a few weeks ago, I trained a group of IT professionals who actually get involved in negotiations with IT suppliers. I know, hard to believe, right? Well, they do, along with 99.9% of all other IT professionals out there. And the feedback I got from these folks was that even though negotiations isn't their full-time job, they feel like they now have the foundational tools they need to be much more effective in their negotiations with their suppliers. So whether you're in procurement or IT or some other part of your organization, and anything I just said struck a chord with you, it wouldn't hurt to check out my negotiation training course at oneviewnow.com. Or if you have a larger group, reach out to me directly and we can put together a corporate training program specifically for your organization.